second topic was I was gonna tell you a little bit about my day, because my day didn't go as planned. I had thought I would just be filming this video today, but actually a lot has happened, so I can tell you about that. So sit back, relax, maybe put in headphones for a nice close-up experience, and get ready to relax. Feel free to drift off if you want. You're not gonna miss anything fun. So, okay, let's go back to when I was a child. I was born to older parents. I don't know if the fact that they were older when they had me is relevant. I feel like it is. They were older when video games were coming out and they weren't interested, you know. My mother, very book oriented, very educational minded person, like she was always reading. My dad, very outside oriented person, loves working in the yard, scuba diving, boating, outdoor things. So it kind of seems like opposites, and they were a little bit, but what they had in common was that they had many hobbies that were not like sitting in front of the TV watching something, being looking at screens. They were not interested in that, and kind of raised me to be the same. So I think my mic is a little bit crooked. Hold on, I'm gonna fix it. I don't know if I fixed it. Anyway, sorry. So my mother taught me to love reading, and my dad taught me to love nature and animals, but they didn't ever want me playing video games. In fact, I definitely heard them use the phrase like rot your brain. Like they thought video games are gonna turn your brain to mush. And maybe they weren't, maybe they were right, I don't know. But it definitely kind of became a little bit of a forbidden fruit kind of thing, where I was like, what am I missing with these video games? And all of my little peers seem to have video games. I actually I remember this story from back when I was about 5 and the Xbox was new. I think because I didn't have any of these, I don't really know the timeline of when these consoles came out, but I remember a little friend that I hung out with, her mom was saying to my mom, you gotta get your daughter one of these Xbox things, because she had just got one for my friend. She's like, you gotta get Allison one, because you turn it on and you just plop the kid in front of it and it just keeps them occupied for hours. And I remember my mom was kind of horrified by that. She did not like that idea. She's a very like hands-on parent that didn't really, when I was young, she didn't really like or feel the need to, keep me occupied. She just liked doing things with me. So the thought of like putting on a movie or a TV show just to get me to do something else, she didn't like that. And she felt like it was gonna be bad for my brain. Yeah. So I also wasn't the kind of kid that needed to be distracted or anything. I think a lot of children have like undiagnosed hours if I needed to, and I was never very hyper. I could just sit and read for like hours quietly, so my mom didn't feel the need to like keep me occupied. Yeah, if that makes sense. But when I was about 5 or 6, they got a new desktop computer. I actually remember going to the Gateway store. That's dating me a bit. The Gateway store. Do you remember Gateway? They had like a little foam cow that they gave me. Like the Gateway cow. Anyway, random. They got this new PC. And they were like, what do we do with the old one? Well, I guess we can give it to Allison. And maybe it'll help her learn computer skills. Using the mouse, the keyboard. And I thought, if technology keeps moving the way it has been, then computers will be a useful skill for her. And they were right, weren't they? So the computer went to me, the old one, this big, clunky, giant, boxy thing. And I really liked, I'd mess around in the paint program, and I really, really liked the word program, and I'd type my little stories. In fact, I would type like this, and it drove my mother insane, and she was like, you're learning to type properly. But because I have this computer now, they felt like, well, we'll get her some like little educational games. Like Disney did a few, including a typing game. They got me a Disney interactive typing game. It was Timon and Pumbaa. I still remember. You would type, you press the keyboard, the key, and Timon or whoever would like shoot a berry at a bug. It was so cute. So cute. Anyway, the computer's turning off behind. So they get me some of these educational games, and all that did was just like stoke the fire of me being like, these games, these are fun. I like this. Yeah, so I would play these a lot, and they were educational for the most part. They would teach you either like a memory skill, or they'd work on reading and vocabulary, basic math problems. So this was all I had. As I got a little older, I would go to a friend's house, and the friends would have more. They would have computer games that weren't for educational purposes. They were just for fun. For example, the Harry Potter games. And I've even played these on my channel if you haven't watched the really, really old Harry Potter games. The ones where Harry's always shouting, Flipendo. And so this was my first foray into video games that were just for fun, not for educational purposes. What? And I was like, this is really fun. Really, really fun. And I found myself really looking forward to going to a friend's house, and we'd play a game together. Back then you'd sit together and you just have fun playing these little games together. It's not quite the same these days, but and that made it even worse. I really wanted to play games myself. So a few years have passed, and there was this American chain, or North American chain, called Circuit City, and they all closed down at one point. They went bankrupt or something, I don't know. But we saw the big going out of business sign on my way to dance class one day, and my mom, who loves a deal, loved a good sale, both my parents, houses, and this looked like Dolls and Doll Houses, but on the computer, and that looked really fun to me. So, little like 8-year-old Allison, or 9, or however old I was, pretty young, picks up this box, this copy of Sims 2, and I give it to my mom, and I'm like, can you get this for me, please? I didn't ask for much as a kid. Very, very little. I felt it was rude, but I actually asked for this. That's how passionately I wanted to play this game. I was like reading the back of the box, just, enthralled, like, look what you can do. You can have a family, you can change their clothes, and this was a 2-pack. It was Sims 2, and it came with a DLC for Nightlife. I think it's called Nightlife. It had vampires and clubs. And my mother, being an angel sweetheart, was like, okay, Allison, it's a good deal. I'll get it for you. Cut to me in the longest car ride of my life. Could not wait to get home and install this game. And I'd installed many an educational game at that point, so I knew exactly how to install games. And the whole car ride home, I'm reading the instruction book that comes in the front, about, like, they used to give you these, on the front of games. They would talk about different rules, and I was just couldn't wait. And that was the beginning of my Sims love. I then got Sims 3 when I was about 13, I think, 12 or 13, a few years later, and played that to death. I also got some more DLCs for Sims 2. But this Sims thing became like a love of mine, and my whole family started seeing how obsessed I was with it. And my grandmother, she would get me the Sims DLCs for Christmas. I still remember one, like, amazing Christmas when she got me 2. I think she got me, like, the Pets one. And another one, I don't really remember. My grandmother's always been incredibly supportive of my gaming career. So, yeah, she's the best. And I'm gonna continue talking about my grandmother because she always knew I really loved these games and video games. So she told me when I was getting ready to graduate high school that she was going to buy me an Xbox 360 as my graduation present. Now, this would be my first console. My family had a Wii. We did get one like 2 years before or something, which was huge. That was our first actual console, and we did all have a lot of fun with that. We played Mario Kart, we played, sports and Sports Resort. My mom and I got Just Dance, the very, very first Just Dance, and we would dance together in the living room. So we did have fun with that, but I had nothing with the controller. I'd never had any of those, no Nintendo console, no PlayStation, no Xbox, so she wanted to get me one as a graduation present. I was 16 at the time. I was 17 when I graduated, and maybe I just turned 17. But I had just started dating this guy who's really big into video games, and he was kind of helping me. He was like my guide, saying, oh, I like this game and this game and this game and this game and this game. And so I said, my grandmother is gonna gift me an Xbox 360 for my graduation. What games do I get? Because the bundle she was gonna get included a popular game, either like told me you could go to jail. That wasn't even offered to me. I don't know why, but they just killed me. Maybe they said, like, you could go to jail or not, and maybe I accidentally backed out of the menu, but all I remember was being attacked and then dying. And that was my very first time playing Skyrim. And that would launch a love that remains to this day. So my boyfriend comes and visits, and together we go to GameStop and we buy a used copy of GTA 4, and he's like, you're gonna like this game is really fun. And he's like, and I want to see what you do in a world like this. Well, the answer is go crazy. I drove like a maniac, getting all of the gaming sillies out of my system of like running over pedestrians and wreaking havoc, general havoc. And this was what I'd wanted my entire life. Open world games like that, and like Skyrim, where I could just walk and explore. I'd wanted that my entire life. I had been searching for games like that, not knowing that they were on consoles, I guess. But I fell in love in more than one way, I suppose, with my boyfriend too. But we would get a used copy of the game, go back and he'd show me how to play it. And that summer I thought, what if I made an ASMR video with a game? And he was like, yeah, people make gaming videos. And I had just been a whisperer up until that point, or one of the early known, ASMR artists, because the term was just new at the time. And I was like, I don't think anyone has ever tried to do a whispering video and a gaming video at once, or if they have, I haven't seen it. So I thought, let me try to do this, and I did it with a game that he had shown me, or that he had in his Steam library, called Little Inferno. He also made me make a Steam account, and he gifted me a copy of Portal 2, and that was another video game I got to play that summer. So he had brought his laptop, I think, to America, and I think I recorded it on his laptop. Maybe he showed me to download OBS and figure it out, and it was a terrible video. It's so bad, but you can still find that video on my channel. And that was my very first gaming ASMR video. After that, I was like, well, I want to do one with my favorite game, Skyrim. And he told me I could play Skyrim on the PC, and I eventually got a copy for the PC, and then I could make a gaming video with it. So I did that. I think I just walked around Solitude or something for my first video. But this was something that I was like really having fun with. I was like, I've kind of created a new genre here. And little did I know there were a couple of other people who were also trying this out at the same time as me. But I mean, it was like at most like 4 of us doing this. I mean, no one was watching this content back in 2013. But we were creating a new genre at the time. And so I tried to regularly incorporate video games into my ASMR videos, because I just had this like childish, no, not childish, but remember when you were a kid, if you played video it became profitable. It was not profitable up until this point. I would spend way more on video games than I would ever make in a month. I feel like, because make very, very little. Most YouTubers do, including myself, even when I had 30,000 subscribers almost. It finally became profitable, and now I am doing this full time. I talked recently about how I quit my job a couple years ago to do this, as it made more money than teaching. That's right, YouTube made more money than being a teacher. A substitute teacher. Although I think it's still more than teaching. I don't know, teachers get paid very little depending on where you are. So it's been a huge love of mine, and I'm very grateful to my boyfriend for introducing me to the world of video games. And if you don't know, we're married now, and we still play games together to this day. It's a big part of our relationship, and he's super, super supportive of me playing games in my channel. His name is Yorkshire ASMR. He's awesome. But I'm also super, super grateful to my grandmother who got me my first console, and she still watches my channel too, and I think she's very proud of me, and I love her very much. So she had no idea when she got me that copy of Skyrim that it would one day be something that got me millions of views on YouTube. Like, I've made more money playing Skyrim than I've spent on copies of Skyrim, and I've bought Skyrim like 5 times, okay? I have the copy on Xbox, which she bought, not me. I bought a copy for PC. I bought the special edition for PC. I bought the VR edition, and I bought one for a Nintendo Switch 5 times. 5 times. Yeah, it's an obsession. So that's a lot of copies. But yeah, I've made more money than I've spent on Skyrim, which is crazy. And I guess I want to also thank my mom who bought me that copy of Sims 2 at that Circuit City years ago, and it sparked my love of The Sims. She was always a huge fan of my channel too, and she'd watch all my videos, so I know she'd be super, super happy and proud of that I'm still going and that I managed to make a career out of this. Thank you, Mom. So I promised I'd talk a little bit about my day, and I'll just finish up the video. I plan to film this video today, edit it, upload it, all that good stuff. I was gonna make lunch. I was gonna work out, shower, make lunch, and then film. Because I wanted to work out some, and I didn't want to shower first, but I wanted to shower before I had lunch, and I had to film. I had to shower before I film. Yeah, whatever. So that was the order. So I got to the working out stage, and I'm about to jump in the shower, literally about to get in the shower, when Yorkshire ASMR, my husband, says, hey, a friend of mine who I met a couple nights ago, he has this online friend that he got to meet in person for the first time, and I went with him, and I met him and his lovely girlfriend. They were like visiting relatively near us, so we went and we drove out to go see them. And this was just like a couple nights ago. They blew a tire and were stranded like in the middle of nowhere, and we are like, literally the only people that they know. They don't even live in this country. So we're like, change of plans, we gotta go rescue them. So I quickly shower, throw some clothes on, and we go drive out an hour and a half almost to where they were, just in the middle of nowhere. A tow truck had like picked them up and then dropped them literally in the middle of nowhere. They were already in the middle of the nowhere. They dropped them to a place with like a gas station, and like, yeah, you can call a cab from here. They couldn't. No cab, no It was very confusing. There were no signs that said bus. It was just like literally a mall, and then the bus drove up in front of the mall. Very weird. And then we just got home. It's like 7 p.m. We've been out all day. And they're such sweet people, so it was actually really nice to see them again, and I feel awful that their little trip was this was the end of the trip, and ended with them, like, their tire blew out and they crashed. No one was hurt. The car was a little damaged, but it wasn't really their